Okay, I started doing trauma-sensitive yoga. It's triggering, but as I do it, I know I'm helping to increase my window of tolerance. Awesome. There you go. I think it's really important to not look for, and this is a problem that I know I have, to not look for the home run. And I always want to like find the solution, and I want to, you know, get unstuck all at once, or help my clients to get unstuck all at once. I want the fastest result possible. And I know for me that's something I bring to myself, but also to my clients, and I have to make sure I keep that in check because uh, that's not realistic. But I want to see people succeed quickly. But it is a process, and we are gradually expanding our window of tolerance. So I think that's a really good reframe or reminder that we need to be patient, which is not always easy. But we need to be patient, and this is a step-by-step process. Don't look for the home run. I like that. Also, trauma-sensitive yoga sounds great. Yeah, Irene, I think it's good. I mean, I don't think it's bad, but it is a long process, and so you might be setting yourself up for some disappointment if you keep waiting for the home run, as I do. And I feel like I've had a few, where I've had those really deep meditations and discharged some very stuck stuff. I know it had an impact on me, and so I don't think it's bad, but I think for me, early on learning about this stuff, reading and listening to Peter Levine, it seems like, if you just do a discharge, you're good, and therapy's over, and you're whatever, right? I remember when providing therapy after having learned about this stuff, and really in my excitement, there was a student I was working with, and she had severe history of trauma, and we had a session where she went through one of those discharges, like really intense discharges, and it very much was like Peter Levine's example of in Waking the Tiger with of Nancy. Actually, talks about Nancy a lot. So if you're familiar with that, it was very very similar to that. And she went through this big discharge and came out of it and was reoriented to the world and was able to smile, and it was like, oh, I did it. On my end of things, I did it. Yes, and she's good now, and no more trauma. And when we met again, like some of her symptoms had come back. Actually, it wasn't as intense. It wasn't as bad. We had made a huge step forward, but she also wasn't like cured. You know what I mean? And I remember feeling disappointed, like, oh shit, like that wasn't enough, like that wasn't it, because in my mind that was it. Like once you discharge it, you're good. But there's so many other factors that come into play, and it really is about step by step by step continuing to access safety, not just once, but building those pathways to access safety. Plus, she had went to a home where she was not safe and was not receiving co-regulation, so there was a constant struggle for her. It wasn't just the one thing. Yeah, I think it's important to recognize and remember that it is a process. And there can be, we'll call them home runs, but the game's not over. You haven't won the game yet. I don't know if the game is ever over until death, really. You might have a bunch of home runs. That's good. Score those points, but that doesn't mean the game's over. I think we took that metaphor pretty far. That was good.